So you can see that those pages have now been deleted. So let's go back into a page. I've just deleted anti-test, so I'm going to need to create it again. So I'm going to duplicate this, anti-test, click on this. So yeah, where was I? I was on template variables. So every page has template variables, which are additional input fields for a particular page. So for example, this page has an image that can be set to the top. So if I click on this, go to images on the left, I might want to select an image that appears on the top of the page. I can click OK, and then if I save that and refresh this and then visit my test page, you'll see that there'll be an image at the top of the page, like so. And that's because the template variable for that set. So you see you've got right column images, so you can change the image that's displayed on the right if you want to. So you can have different ones here. You can change where they link to. So 14 is the ID of the page that those right icons link to. And you can set the text that goes on them as well. So depending upon which theme you use, there'll be a different combination of template variables. Another example is rotator gallery, and I'm going to cover this really quick. So if you go into components and gallery, I'm going to cover this in more detail a little bit later. You've got a list of galleries. So we've got home rotator as an example. So remember that home space rotator, all lowercase. If I wanted this page to have a rotator at the top of it, I'm going to go into template variables. I'm going to say I want to use the gallery home rotator. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to refresh the page, and it's not going to show, and it's not going to show because I also need to turn this on to yes. Save and refresh, and you'll notice the rotator's now here. So any gallery can be a rotator, like so. This is actually the older rotator, so we should probably delete that gallery. And if I wanted to toggle it off again, I just say no, or remove the gallery, like that. So again, if I refresh, there's no more rotator there. So just be aware when you create a page of what theme it's using, and that it might have different template variables as a result of it being a certain theme. You're probably going to want to know how to edit content. So in most circumstances, if I don't select everything, you're going to want to write some text, and then you're going to want to style it. The best way of styling it is to only use the basic tools. So I'd avoid bold really and stick to using these styles up here, because these have been predefined in the system. So if you use heading 1, headings will be constant across the whole site. It also uses the right heading tags for search engine optimization. You can do things like, you probably recognize most of these tools, like indenting, and you can Control Z to undo it. You can bold things up, add a bulleted list in. If you click on this button, you can edit specific CSS styles of some text. So if you wanted to make something pink, you could. Probably a good idea not to. If you're a bit more technical, so Richard, you might want to go in and add some HTML in. You can do that too. But probably the bit that needs explaining is if you wanted to add an image in. So I'm going to describe that now. So we're going to put some images randomly in between the text. So you've got a load of text here. I want to add an image in here. You click on the Insert Edit Image button, which is this square up here. Now you've got a choice. If you know the URL of an image that exists somewhere else on the web, you can just put it in. But let's say that we wanted to upload an image from our computer. You click on Browse. This brings up the file manager. You then want to navigate to the images folder, because we want to always try and keep images in this folder. You can see here are ones I've added already, so I could click on one of these to add them, but we want to upload a new one. So I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to add it, I'm going to choose pictures, and I'm going to go for cool funny. So let's pick this photo, and it's queued for upload, so you can select multiple ones to upload if you wanted, but I'm just going to upload the one. This uploads to the server. You can see now it exists. I can double click on it, it inserts it in. You can then give it a description. You should always really give it a description and a title and use keywords in it for your search engine optimization. So things that relate to the image, describe it. Now you can set the height and width of a particular image. It's better if you pre-process images before you upload them. So in reality you want to sort of not upload really large images, make sure that you're cropping them in an image editing program first. This is already quite a small image, as you can see, so I'm going to insert that there. That's now inserted the image. Now I didn't even know you could do that, so apparently you can resize it, which is interesting. Alright, so you can resize it. Right, that's good. And then we'll save that. And now if we refresh the page, you'll see we've got that image. And I'm going to open the image in a new tab. You've got the image there. Now notice that the image here is smaller than the image there. That's because there's no real-time cropping going on. It's just resized it to whatever I've resized it to. And to delete an image, you just delete it like that. The next thing you're going to want to do is know how to link between pages on the website. So you might want to have a link here to telecare support. Now to do that, you select the text, you click on the link button, you get a window like this. You could put in a website that you know, like google.com. You can either search for a page, so you might want to search for Gadget Gateway and link to that, like so. You can search on different criteria. You might want to link to a file, in which case you go to Browse. So we could link to a image we've uploaded, for example. Now what's interesting here is you might also want to upload a file, so we can use the upload procedure like we had before. Add a file, select the file from the computer, upload it in a similar way, and then link to it that way. So things like linking to PDFs work in that manner. So let's not link to a file. Let's just link to a particular page. Let's say you knew the idea of a page, so let's say you wanted to link to About Us. If you square bracket open, curly S on its side, page ID, that's how you link to a particular page on the site. The benefit of this approach is if you change the alias of the page, which is the URL, remember, then the link still works. So I'm going to insert that link. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to link to telecare support. So there we go. Insert, save, and you will notice now when I refresh the page incorrectly. Yes, when I refresh the page, I've now got a link to telecare support, which I can click on, get through to telecare support, and that's really it. That's probably all you're ever going to want to use these editing tools for. You can have a play, but I don't want to go into detail of everything. Other than if you wanted to get rid of a link, you click the unanchor button.